Hey, Amanda Holmes here. If you enjoy Ultimate Sales Machine, whether it be the book or our trainings, or you've been listening to these podcasts and you're thinking, I'd really like this to be infiltrated into my business. I want it to run in the DNA of me and my team. Then I have something really special for you. A Harvard Business Review study showed that in times of financial crisis, regular and consistent training was the key differentiator to help companies sustain and strengthen and be able to set themselves out as number one in their market when people weren't spending money. That is why, with what we have on the horizon and what's happening right now, that's why we've put together a group training format, a community of like-minded Ultimate Sales Machine believers that want to, with just 1 hour a week, work on your business in marketing, sales, and operations to get it finely tuned to with pig-headed discipline and determination to improve every little piece of your business. Just 1 hour a week. If you'd like to hear more, go to ultimatesalesmachine.com/dojo. That's DOJO. Again, ultimatesalesmachine.com/dojo. DOJO. As my father was a 4th degree black belt in karate, we decided to take this training, make it for the modern man or woman, and have it be a dojo theme. So you'll see sparring included, you'll see tournaments included, and belts. You can get your black belt certification in Ultimate Sales Machine, which will also be available. So if you want to bring in your executive team, if you want your head of sales, if you want your head of marketing, if you'd like teams to get trained in this methodology, ultimatesalesmachine.com/dojo. Welcome to your weekly dose of the Ultimate Sales Machine. Amanda Holmes here, CEO, and we are on the CEO Mastery Show. I have with me Troy Averly, who is our Executive Strategy Officer. But before he was our Executive Strategy Officer, he actually got written up in the new edition of the Ultimate Sales Machine, specifically on page 85, that talks about how he sold $8.4 million in 6 weeks. And there was something really powerful about what you said around education-based marketing. Can you share what was that big takeaway? What was the light bulb? Because Troy was going through one of our group training programs and his face looked so annoyed that I actually had to stop him and say, Troy, are you okay? And he went, yeah. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're not. Are you ready to share? No. Oh, okay. And then after that, you watched the videos all night and you were just trying to understand page 81.
Yeah.
What's on page 81?
Well, 81 is where it all changed because your father had taught me from years ago about the buyer's pyramid and the 3% and trying to figure out always talking at 3% because that's the low hanging fruit.
3% are in the buying now category. Yeah. Okay.
And then what really happened was then you talked about flipping the pyramid upside down and talking about the global pain. It was like this total catch at first. Yeah. Frustrating because your program, you have paradigms. But when you flip it upside down and you realize, you know what, I don't have to worry about talking to that person so much niche down, but understanding the pain that's happening around the globe that is really affecting for that person. And then I was like, oh my gosh, it's super easy to talk about things that are happening at the kitchen table, someone's marriage because of something that happened at work or something that happens with their kids, business partners, the people that they are, all of those things, because all of those things have an emotional outcome. And when you talk about global pain, it actually is something that resonates with them. Yes. Then that evening I was learning and reading. I was trying to figure it all out and I put it together. And then I went to my customers and realized, you know what? I don't know enough about my customers. And so that
which is crazy because how long had you been selling there?
Well, 12 years.
12 years. Yeah. And how much had you produced in that role, roughly?
Probably, say $480 million.
Okay. And even he is saying that he didn't know his buyers.
I didn't know how to take it to the next level, right? Because I wanted to add like another 20-30% to my sales.
Okay.
Which technically was almost near impossible with that group of people.
Okay.
So if you look at it, so when I realized, wait a second, the global pain, all of my customers and all of the people, the team under me, their sales were dropping because there was a lot of environmental factors and problems happening.
Drought, hailstorms.
Yeah, because I was selling John Deere. And so
to farmers,
yeah, to farmers. And so drought. It hadn't rained in a long time. They had hailstorms. And
so their crop is just annihilated.
Yeah, staff are moving away. All of the things really that are happening around the globe, shortage, inflation, all of that. But when I figured out, I started researching them, I started to find out that they were telling me confused minds won't buy. They weren't sure of how to apply technology. What were things that they could invest in that could prevent this kind of hardship? Then also their children didn't really want to be a part of their business anymore because it looked stressful as ever. Then we were looking at their staff problems. Morale was lower, rising costs so much. They're spending so much time trying to figure out how to cut costs and really grow profit. And it just became overwhelming. But we started to understand that you could talk to them about those problems and then be able to apply solutions that actually made sense to leave those. I still hadn't even talked about equipment at that point. And so that's what caught their attention. That's what builds rapport. Your father said you flipped something that he should have flipped. Because if you think about it, he flipped already the 7 steps of selling.
Yes. Yes.
He should have flipped both at the same time. And that's what's the big eye opener for me.
Okay, we should talk. In the next episode, you'll hear about the 7 steps to a sale, and we'll have to tag that in and talk to it. Thank you so much, Troy. This has been so valuable. Your weekly dose of the Ultimate Sales Machine. If you want to join us in the Ultimate Sales Machine Dojo, where you take this and make it into your business's DNA, go to ultimatesalesmachine.com/dojo, DOJO.